K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Good evening. This is the Bo and Joe Show. Welcome all. Listen, it's one of those nights. Our fearless leader, TB12, Joanne, is unavailable, as you can see. She is in a, what shall I say? I want to be funny about it. She's in retirement. She's in retirement and in mourning because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we are going to press on with the show, and there's lots to talk about. And if we get it in an hour, great. If we get it in a half hour, we get it in a half hour. So we are waiting for, and hopefully our backup quarterback, George, will be tuning in soon. But Chris, make sure you, if you can, send out that invite. So I'm pretty sure a few of my family members are trying to chime in. Those who picked teams last week. As everybody can see, I've got my Philadelphia Eagles hat on because we are going to the Super Bowl.
Back to the Super Bowl.
Yes, we are. What do you think? What you think about that, brother?
I mean, it was a good game, for a little bit. Then Purdy got hurt. It looks like it sounds like it's a Tommy John situation, and who knows what's going to happen there. But Philadelphia got back to the Super Bowl. It is.
It's a shame. It would have been a more exciting game had he not gotten hurt. I still think we would have won it, but that's neither here nor there, right?
Right.
But you don't like to see a main player like that. I mean, we all know the quarterback is the main player, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So let's see, we got our first guest. Yep, that's my dad. And I'm pretty sure one of my siblings, my twin, or one of my other sisters are chiming in because they want to hear about their picks, that they win or lose their picks last week.
Yeah.
But both games were exciting. Well, no, the Kansas City game was exciting because it went down to the 4 seconds left in the game. They kick a field goal, but the Eagles game was unbelievable in the sense that you just didn't see that kind of route coming because of, I mean, it would have been better had the 49ers defense, who was touted and lauded as the number one defense, would have shown up. They could have made it a game, regardless of who the backup quarterback was. If they would have prevented us from scoring, it would have been a 7-7, 7-10. I thought it was going to be, I called the score in the beginning. I said it's going to be a 14-10 score at the end.
Yeah.
But
you're close.
Well,
I mean, at the beginning you were close, but
But once the quarterback got hurt, it was over.
And then the backup got hurt. Their fourth-string quarterback, and they're trying to figure out who was going to be the emergency. I think I heard, CMC was going to be a backup or an emergency, and then somebody else was going to be.
You talking about the McCaffrey, the running back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, he actually took a play from. It was the Wildcat. He took a snap. He wasn't under center. He took a snap, and he threw the ball, and he was smart enough to throw it away where nobody was, so there was no chance of it getting intercepted. Like, this goes to show you what a smart player he is, right?
True.
So, but let me open this show up with more sad news on my part. For those who out there who are tuning in, there's only a few Joe and Bo shows left. Bo is leaving the show. I have the opportunity to produce and host a local TV show here in the local area. And I've always wanted to get involved and have my own podcast show. And the goal for that podcast show was to specifically focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion through sports, which is the title of my book, or the subtitle of my book. I really think that conversation needs to happen at a higher level. And I know how to have that conversation. And the goal is to have guests who are comfortable having that conversation on my show. And so that's still a goal, to have my own podcast show. But this opportunity popped up where I was actually was interviewed, I was interviewed by a sports writer at this network a year and a half ago. And the phone call came to me from this local network asking me to, would I consider thinking about it? And I thought about it for about 8 months. And then the conversation was revisited, and we had a conversation, crossed our T's, dotted our I's, and it's a done deal. So my last show will be the Wednesday after the Super Bowl, because we are making our Super Bowl picks tonight, because there's no game next week or this weekend, unless you guys want to pick who's going to win the skills challenge and the flag football game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So my last Bo and Joe show will be I think it's the 15th, the last Wednesday, the first Wednesday after the Super Bowl. So it's been a great ride. It's been a blast. We had a lot of fun, and who knows what the future holds. So
Yeah.
just wanted to put that out there now before the end of the show, and we may not have time, or I might forget something, but I wanted to make that announcement. I'm going to make the announcement publicly on social media starting this week, and go from there. So I won't be a stranger though, Crispy Bacon. I got your number.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but let's talk. How's that weather down there, man? You guys are getting crushed. It's bad all over in the Southwest, right?
It is. It's not like a couple years ago, but it's pretty bad where, schools are being shut down, all that stuff, and public transportation's being limited. So it's not fun.
And you guys aren't used to it like we are. We're seasoned up here where we put salt and chemicals on the road, where trucks aren't sliding when they hit their brakes. Cars aren't sliding, they're not having those pileups. They do have them. I'm not saying we don't have them. We do have them, but we usually have them when that kind of storm hits suddenly as a surprise. But if people are prepared, we tend to not have that. But yeah, you guys aren't used to it. Like Atlanta's not used to it. Tennessee's not used to it. All those southern Midwest states aren't used to this type of icy weather happening. So folks need to be safe and careful as they're traveling. Is that G waiting in the wings? Is he
he is here.
He's here.
I'm here.
Well, we can't see you.
I know. I was just getting back in the door.
What are you What are you brushing your hair or shaving or? I mean, what are you doing? We can't see you. So, but there's lots to talk about. Obviously, TB12 crushing everybody, right? With his official retirement.
Is it?
The Brit sold to you in Brooklyn too, Bodine. If you
Huh?
believe it's going to happen.
I can't hear you.
I said there's a bridge to be sold to you in Brooklyn if you believe it this time. Let's give it.
I don't think he believes it.
Listen. If Tom Brady does what he did last year, retires, he did the same thing on this date last year, and then 40 days later came out of retirement. If he does that, then he's definitely in the diva, Brett Favre,
Terrell Owens
category, without a doubt. So I like to think that it's real. So
just wait about a month.
Yeah, I was going to say, I said it earlier. I said, it's all because he's got a movie coming out here this Friday, and, he's got to be in front of the camera again.
Yeah.
It's all about him. It's always got to be about him. I mean, Greeny turned around and couldn't, get off of, his admiration this morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not like we haven't had to do this last year. You don't even need to go through the whole spiel again, but yet Greenberg did this morning. I was like, come on already.
I know, ESPN, NFL Network, they're like, Brady retiring, and that was a whole story, all morning. I get it, it's big news, but we've been through it last year, so.
Right. And it shouldn't be that big of a news.
No.
It's like, okay, they're acting like it was the shocking news of the century. It's like, no, we've been here, done this. You didn't have to. It's like, wow, it must have been a very slow news morning.
And it was 1 year ago today, actually, he retired.
That is true. Originally. That is true. Yeah. So, I think my sister's on, my Irish twin. She chimed in yet? Oh, there she is.
He needs a Snickers.
He needs a Snickers.
Yes. Yes. Nice. Good shot.
That's funny. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a commercial, right?
I know. It should be.
That is funny. He needs a Snickers.
That is a good one.
Uh-huh.
That is a good one.
That's pretty funny. I know.
I like great timing. Well played. Well played.
Well, all of the conspiracy theories are going to come out between now and the next 40 days. You know it's going to happen, right? Yeah. Every day there's going to be something new about what's going on with Tom Brady. But remember, the only thing that matters is when the paperwork is signed. Once the paperwork is signed, that's when it really counts. So, and until the NFL makes that statement and says that we have paperwork, which I don't think they will, but it could be leaked out that the paperwork is in, that's when we'll really know if he's calling it quits, hanging it up.
Mm-hmm. And remember, I said it last year when everybody's like, oh, Gronk's going to come back too. It's like, no, I told you all Gronk was not coming back. Nobody believed me. It took the whole year for everybody to turn around and know that Gronk was not coming back.
Oh, hold on. Stop it, George. Don't say nobody didn't believe you, because I never said he was coming back. All I said was until the paperwork is in house, we don't know if he's coming back. But once we got to the middle of the season and he wasn't being talked about as in a camp working out, then we knew it was done. And then once he appeared on Fox, we really knew it was done.
I think he entertained the idea from what I heard, but I don't think he wanted to come back. I think he's like, you know what? Because he sent out a tweet saying, "I'm bored."
Right. Well, because he's also been he's the backing of his own CBD brand. And that's why you cannot be doing that and play in the NFL. That's why I knew last March that he wasn't going to be able to come back. That's why I knew it was a done deal.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And he's been very public about it too. Each of the Gronkowski brothers actually has their own little niche thing. Chris has the shaker cups. Gordy's doing the View vitamin drink. So they're all turning around and getting their own niche in, everywhere.
Hold on. Why do you still have us on the blank screen? Are you in your kitchen cooking up some chili meal or something? What are you doing? You're not in your studio?
Hey. Stop giving away my locations. Stop giving away the locale, man.
Oh my God. You got us. You got us. You have our guests. I mean, our audience in suspense. They're sitting looking at this little dot on the screen, and they're used to seeing your. There you go. See? I told you he was moving around. He wasn't in his customary studio. All right. Well, we need our audience to see you, right? I don't need to see you. Our audience needs to see you. So, there we go. Everybody's happy. Let's see if there's any comments, Chris, about him being. There we go.
I think after that last comment of the Snickers.
What is my sister saying? I can't read that. What is that?
A laughing emoji.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, there he is. See, she was looking for you. We can't hear you, George. What happened? Did you do something?
No, Kelly just stepped in for a second.
Oh, you put us on mute. Okay. All right. So, what's the next topic? We talked about TB12 retiring. We'll see what happens with that. What's the next topic?
Sean Payton or.
Oh yeah, coaching.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I still haven't told Bryce. Darn it. I forgot.
Oh.
I totally forgot all about telling him. I'm excited about it. Yes, it's as a Browns fan. Yes, I'm excited that the Denver Broncos got Sean Payton the head coach, and will fix Russell Wilson.
We hope.
Well, he'll fix the team because
he fixed Drew Brees. He fixed Drew Brees. He'll fix Russell Wilson.
That's true.
Well, part of fixing Russell Wilson is fixing the team and fixing that offensive line, which we all know is important for a quarterback.
And his Swiss cheese.
So that's very important. I'm not necessarily sure about his wide receivers and skill players because I didn't pay attention.
Between Judy and Hamler, not bad. They could use one more, another real solid veteran. They could. Problem is there's nobody really that good out there. That's the problem.
Well, he's going to have to work some magic. But what's great about the ownership, they have deep pockets. Not that it's going to have an effect on the football program. Is there a penalty? There's a salary cap, but is there a penalty if they go over the salary cap? Yeah. And I think the salary cap is going up this year. Isn't it the salary cap going up this year?
It did. Yep.
So that's a little wiggle room they have to try to make something happen, Sean Payton. Because if Sean Payton is as good as we think he is as a head coach, that means there are players out there who might want to play for him, knowing how good of a coach he is. So that might play into it as well.
And with the current status, even without the trade stuff, the Broncos are still $12 million on the plus side of that salary cap. So they've got some wiggle room.
Hey, they could get lucky and draft all kinds of great young players who can just turn out to be awesome. You never know how many drafts they got. How many can they steal?
They traded off the farm to get Russell Wilson.
But didn't they get a first-round draft pick this year?
Hang on.
In that trade with Peyton?
They get the 29th overall pick.
Yeah.
Well, that's a first-round pick.
Yeah, they get the 29th.
From who?
The Saints.
They got it from the Saints? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
it would have been what, the 30th because of Miami? They had to forfeit.
Right, Miami had to forfeit.
So everybody just
right, and then the rest of it, the Broncos get nothing in the second. They get 2/3. They get one from Indy from a couple of years back, and and this is kind of ironic. They get picks 68 and 69. Not bad, getting back-to-back picks. Then they get 108 in the fourth, 140 in the fifth.
oh my God.
Then you get the 194 in the sixth from Pittsburgh and 247 from Minnesota in the seventh. And that's all they got. So they'll get 7 picks.
not to mention any compensatory picks.
They don't have any compensatory this year.
Really?
We went over the list the other night and they didn't have anything. The 49ers are getting quite a few though. That surprised me. They're getting like 5 picks.
All right, I'm back.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
This is one thing I'm not gonna miss is using my cell phone. Ugh. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but we can see all of you.
Oh Lord. So
why do we have him in again?
So what else can we talk about before we talk about last week's games and then our Super Bowl picks? Anything else?
DeMeco Ryan. Houston got a new coach, DeMeco
Well,
Ryan.
And he used to play for the Eagles. He was a very good professional player. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he's definitely was a very good player as a linebacker. He was drafted by Houston. His wife is from Houston. I don't know if he's from Houston, but I heard his wife is from Houston. And you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. So she's probably more than happy to go back to Houston. He is the head coach. So I think it's going to make it a little easier because he's got a tough job, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I forget, was Houston surprising teams at the end of the season by winning games that they shouldn't have won?
Uh-huh.
So maybe he has some players that he can turn some things around.
Now here's something that I find funny. You mentioned about him playing for the Eagles. He only played for the Eagles for 3 seasons. Do you know who he played for 5 years before that?
Mm-mm.
He's coaching them.
Yeah, because he drafted him.
Texans.
They drafted him.
The Texans drafted him.
Oh yeah.
Talk about full circle. You are now going to go coach the team that you played 5 years for.
I don't remember him as a Philadelphia Eagle. I remember him as a Houston middle linebacker. I'm just telling you. So
well, you can also say the same thing in Carolina with Frank Reich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played in Carolina, and now he's back in Carolina.
Yeah, good for Frank to get that head coaching job. I'm happy for him because he's a good guy.
And Deuce Staley has been pulled away from the Detroit Lions and has been asked to be on Frank's coaching staff.
Because they know each other. They have a really good relationship. And Deuce Staley is a very good running backs coach. And maybe one day he'll get a chance to be a head coach. Maybe one day.
And our offensive coordinator's now in LA with the Chargers.
Oh, that's got to put a spur in your owner. Soon as you cut the dude, another team scoops him up because you know what that means.
With that like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that means that everybody's thinking or looking at the Cowboys saying, "You let that guy go, you mutants."
Yep, because even Stats turned around and said Monday night, he goes, "Man, Kellen Moore was unemployed for like 10 minutes." Heard he was cut or they were letting him go. I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "There are so many people on the phone with this guy. It's not fun."
That's
I heard
Go ahead, Crispy Bacon.
I was going to say, I think he was talking to teams before they cut him. And then
sure. His agent, he's allowed to, right?
Yeah.
Isn't his agent allowed to?
Once they lost, it's free game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt it one bit.
So his agent did a great job. His agent's like, "So what? If they don't pay you, they cut you. You got a job 2 minutes later." Well, 5 minutes later, he had a job.
And wow. I mean, Justin Herbert is about to just wow. Justin Herbert's going to flourish. I mean, that guy's no joke.
Well, listen, if that statement you just said is true, it's really going to make the Cowboys look bad. Mm-hmm. Because Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback. He needs a really good offensive coordinator because that's a waste of talent sitting there not making it to the playoffs.
Absolutely. And that NFC even stronger.
We need to see Herbert, Russell Wilson, KC Mahomes, Buffalo's Josh Allen.
Yeah.
What's his name? The quarterback in Baltimore. Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, yeah.
And who else?
Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
And Joe Burrow. That's 6. Give me one more. And you're talking about an all-star playoff weekend in that conference. Give me one more.
What? Out of the AFC? Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Boom. That's 7 high-powered quarterbacks. There will be no bad weekend for football during the playoffs when those 7 guys are in the playoffs. Tell me that's not an all-star weekend of football, playoff football.
It would be. And we kind of had that this year.
Oh, we did. But just imagine, you got those 7. I just named 7. 7. Only 7 can make the playoffs, and those 7 is high powered. So I'm telling you, man, that if he can pull it off and get that quarterback to the rest of everybody's level, we're gonna be watching some great football in that conference.
And then guess what? That dude will end up with a head coaching position.
Oh, sure. As young as he is, he will. Absolutely. No one's afraid to hire young coaches anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's afraid anymore. No. It used to, that old school hire the old guy, the guy with years of experience, even though he lost. That scenario's out the window. Go ahead, Chris.
Look at McVay.
Yeah.
He was a young coach in Washington, I think.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more. Speaking of the Rams, Jeff Fisher.
Huh?
Oh yeah, Fisher.
Jeff Fisher.
Oh yeah, yeah. He became a coach right after he retired.
Right. Yeah, he was with Houston, and the Houston, Tennessee, Oilers thing.
Mm-hmm.
Walked right into the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
He actually was a good player though.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good defensive back.
But he was a really good, solid coach though too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Jeff Fisher as an actual defensive back.
I'm not anything. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of good coaches. Any coaching jobs still open, or are they all taken?
Colts, they're still open.
Right.
In Cardinals,
Arizona.
Who in the world wants that Colts job?
I think Saturday's going to take it. That's what.
Yeah, because nobody else wants it.
Which is spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah, I've never heard of people turning down a coaching job.
Something must be up, or not right.
There has to be something wrong. There literally has to be something wrong.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Well, if the Dallas Cowboys didn't have its storied history, they would be in the same boat. But they have a storied history, and you do have an owner that wants to win. But the problem is he wants to win too much, and he can't mind his own beeswax.
Well, yeah.
So,
well,
and I think too he wants to concentrate more on like the marketing, the selling, that aspect of it. I mean, he wants to win too on the field, but I think he has too many hands in cookie jars, so to speak.
Yeah, no question.
Well, here's the surprise just popping through since we were going that route. The Detroit Lions could lose another positional coach because Aaron Glenn has been requested for the second interview with the Colts.
Now,
Aaron Glenn wasn't he a wide receiver?
He was a Cowboy,
and he was a Patriot.
He was really good.
He was. I like him. I saw him with the Lions last year. I'm like, wasn't he a Cowboy?
Yep, he was a Patriot first.
Yeah. He played with Brady.
Yep.
Won a Super Bowl, I think. Super Bowl or two, I can't remember.
And that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
He's the corner. Because he's a defensive coordinator, so he was the corner.
Let's see what happens there.
I mean, he did Detroit's defense. That's a miracle and a half after Mike Patricia was in there. So guess what? The guy knows what he's doing.
Come back to Dallas if we lose Quinn.
Chris, he's begging now. He's begging.
Hey, Chris, check the comments. Do we got any comments lately? Because we've been going at it for a while.
She was wondering where you went to earlier when you came up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, remember, I said the Detroit Lions, their whole coach was all former players, and that team got spun right around, and they did a great job since Dan's been there. So that's kudos to Dan Campbell for turning around and bringing in former players to turn around and be the coaches, and now these guys are getting opportunities. And I mean, and especially if Glenn gets the head coaching job with the Colts, bonus. Because all that does is make Campbell even look more of a genius. That, hey, you guys should have been doing this a long time ago.
Well, I got nothing but love for Detroit. So I hope they can turn it around. It's just a shame that Barry Sanders didn't get an opportunity to show, consistently in the playoffs. I think he might have went to the playoffs once in his career at Detroit.
There were a couple. There were
a couple, right?
Okay.
But he didn't have a consistent opportunity to show his incredible ability by going to the playoffs at least like 4 or 5 years in a row, in other words. So it's a shame. Again, I have family in Detroit area. I have love for Detroit, and I wish them really, really well. So we did a top 7 for the AFC. Let's do a top 7 for the NFC. Who's the number 1 quarterback in the NFC right now? We have to go with Jalen Hurts for the Eagles because he's in the Super Bowl. He's in the Super Bowl.
You do?
Yeah. Who's number 2? All right. Who's number 2? End of story. He's number 1. Who's number 2?
Really?
All right. Well, who's better than he is?
I'm just asking why. Just because he's in the Super Bowl, he's got to be number 1.
Well, he's a good quarterback. Who's better than him?
I think you could put him number 1 until we can find somebody. Because I'm trying to think of.
Well, listen. I agree. Not Brett Favre.
Aaron Rodgers.
Ron is absolutely a better quarterback, without a doubt.
At the moment, I'm not going to sit there and put Mr. Hurts numero uno.
If Brady was still playing, I think you put him.
Brady would be number 1. He just retired today. Right?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But you could have put Rodgers at 1. Hurts at 2.
Prescott would be 2.
Wow.
No.
Yes.
I would have put him at 3 or 4.
Well, Dak would be 2.
Okay. Who? Give me the top 7. Let's forget putting them in order. Give me the top 7.
All right.
The best 7 quarterbacks, just like we did with the AFC, because we didn't rank them in the AFC. We just said that these are the top 7.
Yep.
So yes, Dak is in there. Hurts is in there. Ron's in there. The quarterback from Detroit's in there.
Jared Goff?
I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him number 5. Who's number 6 and number 7? We got to have 7 teams in the playoffs. Who's the 7?
Matthew Stafford would be.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Stafford ain't playing until he's playing. Until I see him play again, I'm not going to say that. Who's the top 7 quarterbacks in the league based on how they played this past season?
Right.
You put Purdy in there.
Yes, he would. Matt Stafford would be in there.
He did play a little bit this year. So.
And he was and they were getting their butts kicked when he was in there. How many games did they win this year? How many games did they win this year?
Like 4.
Thank you.
Okay,
all right.
Then you can.
All right, no.
Mayfield.
No. I'm going to give you Matt Stafford. That makes what?
And as a matter of fact, because I'm even looking at a ranking thing too, and it has Brady 1, Rodgers 2, Stafford 3, Prescott 4, even Kyler Murray, who didn't even play almost half of the year, listed at 5. Kirk Cousins is 6. Jalen Hurts is the 7th.
All right, so let's take Arizona's quarterback out of it. Let's take Tom Brady out of it because he just retired. So I don't have a problem with that list. Now we need to add 2 more.
Justin Fields from Chicago.
I would add Justin Fields and the kid from Detroit.
And Jared Goff? Fair enough.
Because did Jared Goff almost make the playoffs? Didn't they have a winning record above 500?
They did, and they had to win against I think it was a bunch of other stuff, but they had to win against Green Bay.
They went 8-9. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there we go.
Almost 500.
And you never know who's going to step up this coming year to elevate themselves. So I would say the AFC has a stronger quarterback crew than the NFC.
I don't disagree with that.
But the NFC has a better defensive, I would say overall defensive teams, right? So there you go. Offense versus defense. Let's see what happens next year. But we're at 9:41. Let's talk about last week's game so we can pick our Super Bowl winners. Okay, the first weekend of football, G and I went 6-0. Chris, you and Joe went 4-2. And then the following weekend,
She left her dress there. Or is it in the car?
Is that Boogie?
Him.
The following weekend, G went 4-0, and everybody else went 2-2. So Chris, and then this past weekend, Chris, you went 2-0. I went 2-0. San went 2-0. I think my dad went 2-0 because he probably picked whoever I picked.
And I went 0-2.
You went 0-2. Yes, you did. And my oldest sister, who's probably not on tonight because I didn't see, is Tina on Crispy Bacon?
I haven't seen her, no.
Well, she picked the 49ers, so she's not on tonight. So she was in the same boat with G, picking the 49ers. So that makes us all squared, my brothers, all squared. The winner of the playoff season comes down to the Super Bowl winners. Do we want to talk about the games before we pick the Super Bowl winner, the Eagles versus 49ers?
Yeah, I feel bad for San Francisco.
You got 10 picks?
Huh?
Who's got 10? I got 10. What do you got? I'm 10-2.
Dude, I just said we were all squared.
We were?
All squared means we're tied.
Everybody's
Y'all got the same amount.
Yes. For the playoffs, we're all squared. Remember, you went 4-0 last weekend. Everybody else went 2-2. And then you went 0-2 and everybody else went 2-0. So we caught up.
But on the first week, who lost?
Chris and Joe went 4-2.
I went 6-0.
So did I.
Yeah, but if Chris was 2-2, that means he's 8-4.
I said you and I were all squared. I don't like putting people down because they lose. You like rubbing people's face in it. See? That is so not nice of you.
You said we're all squared. Like, wait a minute, how are we all squared? Well, guess what?
I think the wording was confusing, maybe, but
Boogie has turned on and stepped up his game. Apparently, most of the 6th grade class have all decided to make Super Bowl bets and put their hair on the line.
Uh-oh.
And a bunch of kids who have got all pros have put their hair on the line. If they lose, if the team they back loses, they're getting buzz cuts.
Mohawks?
Wow. No. Buzz cut.
Oh no. I did.
uh-oh.
Yeah, we did that back in the day. Got Mohawks because we were motivated to get psyched out to play a rival.
No,
Other than that, I get that. Other than that, I'm not taking bets like that. So more power to those kids if they want to get their hair buzzed and go to school. Because the girl's gonna
to shave my head.
Yeah, the girl's gonna be like laughing at them and giggling. So yeah, go ahead. I'm not doing it.
Well, there's even 2 kids who are also going for dyeing the color.
Of the league.
More power to them.
I was like, wow, that's pretty bold. But
Yeah.
so it will be one or the other because I am picking the Chiefs. So, I will be backing the Chiefs.
Well, of course, I'm going to be backing the Eagles.
Well, I think 100%.
So, I think your quarterback is not as bad as he could be in terms of that high ankle sprain. The KC quarterback, Mahomes.
When you got 2 weeks to rest,
he's going to be close to 90%, which is it ain't going to. The adrenaline is going to make him feel 100%. Plus, if he can throw the ball during the game on a high sprain ankle, he's going to be ready. So I don't see a problem. But
it happened a couple of years ago when it was the 49ers and the Chiefs, and he had a similar ankle sprain because of the Browns knocking him out of the game, and he went on to just win the Super Bowl. So I figured I think we might see a repeat.
Well, listen, Villanova is having a Black History Month event that weekend. I've been invited along with other legacy African-American alumni that they will be highlighting, and I'm proud and excited to be a part of it. I will be watching the Super Bowl at Villanova. They're having a huge party that weekend to celebrate the African-American alumni. So I plan to watch the first half there, eating some soul food, because that's going to be the food on the menu. And then I'm going to quickly, because I only live 4 miles, get home at halftime, because you can always tape Rihanna. You can always tape Rihanna, because you know the halftime show is going to be a half hour long. It won't take that long for me to get home.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch the second half from home. So I am I'm rooting for the Eagles, obviously. And I think we're going to win because of our defense.
You're betting on.
I think our defense is a better defense.
Kansas City has a good defense too.
Oh, yeah, they do. They do. But we have some monsters on our offensive line. We got 2 Hall of Famers on our offensive line, Johnson and Kelsey. What do you think of the 2 brothers playing against each other? Not necessarily against each other, but the 2 teams.
It's the Andy Reid Bowl.
Yeah, I was going to say they interviewed the Kelsey brothers here in Cleveland this morning.
Did they?
Yeah.
And and they said, yeah, mom and dad definitely are in a win-win situation.
Sure they are. Sure they are. You got 2 sons.
Jersey going.
You got 2 sons. You got 2 sons going to the Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me? Right? That they're creating a legacy like the Mannings. Who are some of the other legacy?
Barber Brothers.
Yep, Barber Brothers,
Watt
JJ,
brothers.
the Watt brothers.
Probably brought up Tiki and Rondé the other night. She was like, "Those guys, right?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yep. What about? Let's go back a little older. Wasn't there? Remember Houston Oilers had a was it a linebacker, and the brother played for another team, I think Arizona. What was it?
Yes, it was the Cleveland Browns.
Who was it?
Wow, really?
Clay Matthews, the Matthew brothers.
Oh, Packers and Browns. Yep. I thought it was
the Matthew brothers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's
and that the one kid's son also played already in the NFL too.
Well, this isn't exactly apples and I'm sorry. This isn't exactly apples to apples. It's more like apples to a pear. But you got Howie Long and Chris Long, because Chris Long is going to the Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
right,
You could also put the coaches, the Harbaughs.
Yeah. Absolutely. And now you have more. And now you have more coaches of color getting opportunities.
Look at that. The Twins says the Chiefs. Taking the Chiefs.
Oh, she's just being she see that. Listen, she's a Cancer like me. You know, we're zodiac sign Cancers. So she's a she is a contrarian like me. So she's just being a contrarian in that respect. So she probably likes Patrick Mahomes, which is fine. Also, we didn't talk about this. A biracial quarterback and an African American quarterback, first time league history, two players of color starting in the NFL. So that's a first. That's a first. So there's a lot of first in the league in this Super Bowl. And Andy Reid, I mean, his thumbprints are all over this thing because there's still 3 players that are on the Eagles that he drafted that are playing, and they're actually players. They're not just, backups. Right. They're starters. So Andy Reid's got his, it's going to be all kinds of storylines and narratives. Who is my dad picking? Did my dad pick anybody yet?
I haven't seen his pick.
So
no, I haven't.
San, find out who dad's picking and send in his pick, San. So who you got? Crispy Bacon?
I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, so everybody's on the Chiefs except me, huh?
Well, it's kind of, you got a whole bunch of Vermilion 6th graders who are on the Eagles, and Bryce said there's going to be a lot of bald kids on Monday.
So Boogie's picking who?
The Chiefs.
And the rest of his classmates is picking the Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, I said, man, and here's the funny part. 2 days later, my basketball team and a few of them are in on the bet. A couple of nights later, they'll be playing A squad versus B men in the halftimes of both the junior varsity and the varsity game. And I said, boy, that's going to be real interesting to see a whole bunch of kids. If the Eagles lose, we're going to see a whole bunch of buzz cuts by Tuesday. I was like, that would be interesting to see.
If Joe had a pick, who you think she would be picking?
Mahomes.
Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah, she'd be going for Mahomes.
I would think so.
Okay. We'll make a pick for her since she's on the sideline on IR.
She likes Patrick.
Yeah, I remember that now. All right. Well, listen. Again,
it's going to be a good game. I mean, the spread's down to 1.5 or 2. It's flipped. It's flipped.
Listen, I don't pay attention to that stuff because I don't like losing money. The only time I lose money is on things I can control, and that's usually when I'm on the golf course and I got a putt.
I kind of use it as a guide, but I don't really bet. I just use it as a guide.
Chris, who did my dad pick? My sister just sent me a text saying he picked somebody. Who did he pick? You see him? Anybody see him? Joseph Sanders?
The Eagles. He likes the Eagles.
He picked the Eagles. Okay.
Yeah. He said he likes the Eagles.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got his pick in.
Yeah, it's falling to 1.5. And both money lines, it's 110. So it's almost pretty much dead even.
How about prop bets? Anybody got a prop bet?
So Pete's didn't you? There were as of Monday there were 214 different prop bets you could bet on for this.
those are for serious gamblers. I mean that would be overwhelming to me. I mean,
It's stupid stuff.
If you had to bet a prop bet, which one would you bet?
Which quarterback would score first or throw the first touchdown? That one's usually one of the fun ones. I mean, everybody bets on the coin flip. That's truly the 50-50.
Yep.
You know, but
I think I saw one year. I think I saw one year. How long would the national anthem last, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy.
It's one of them. Yeah.
If I was to pick a prop bet and bet on it, I would bet that the Eagles get an interception first before KC's defense. How about that one? I think our defensive backs are a little bit more seasoned and better because KC has a lot of rookies on in their defensive backfield. We've got some really good veterans. So I would take that bet.
Yeah.
First player to get sacked?
Hurts.
No. Mahomes is going to be the first person to get sacked.
I was going to say.
No.
Our defense?
Jalen will go down first. Because Jalen's going to scramble around and he's not going to see somebody coming from behind. And that's why he's going to get sacked.
All right. I'm going to write this down just so I can remember it. Jalen Hurts gets sacked first. I'm writing down Eagles gets a pick first. What was the other one?
First quarterback to throw a touchdown.
Which is?
Mahomes for me.
KC throws for KC first touchdown. Chris, you got any that we want to write down?
I don't. I haven't really seen any prop bets
that you would like.
I know they're out there, but
okay.
Maybe who would get intercepted first? I'm not sure.
No. How about a special team score? Who do you think which special team is going to score? If there is a special team that's going to score.
That would be KC and Sky Moore. That kid, this was his rookie year. That kid can fly. That kid can truly fly. Mm-hmm. He reminds me a lot of Leon Washington with how quick he can be agile like that. I remember Washington like that.
I'm going to say Eagles special team scores first because we have a pretty good special teams.
Your average has only been to the 32.
That's okay. It's the Super Bowl, brother. It's the Super Bowl. I've seen enough where people don't normally do anything, come out of the woodwork, and life is good. People make their names in Super Bowls. Guys you never heard of. You know this. How about somebody you never heard of the entire season all of a sudden does something incredible during the Super Bowl and get their 15 minutes of fame, they get a commercial, they get a big contract, and then they fade back to being themselves. I'm going with the Eagles.
Nobody.
There's always a first, bro. Always a first.
You are betting on a lot of that green.
Yeah, baby. Did you see the post, the video I shared on Facebook that one of my Villanova alumni, he's younger than me, posted a video with the crowd from that night? Did you see that video on Facebook? Oh, no, come on, man. You get Chris, take a look at it. The crowd was everywhere. I mean, they shut down city blocks for miles and miles. Broad Street, Passyunk, where the cheesesteak place are, North Philly, South Philly, they shut Philly down. So
I think I saw something about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're greasing the light poles and all that. There's.
Oh yeah, we do that often.
I think some building collapsed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we do that.
You don't want to say that.
Yeah, we have to. Well, listen, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Second to the last show, everybody, because we will not have a show next week. no show next week. There's no reason to have one because there's no games this weekend. The next show will be the Wednesday after the Super Bowl, so we can revisit these picks and who won and revisit the game. Hopefully Joe will be back off of IR by then. And again, folks, big news. That will be my last show, unless something else happens. But I've got to focus on this TV show, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Once I get my feet wet, I guess I could come back and be a guest. Maybe George will have me on his show as a guest. Who knows?
Ben, you've been on my show. What are you talking about? You've been over. Oh, man. Calling me like that.
So listen, folks, it's been a blast. Crispy Bacon.
On at the same time. Well, you guys will never get off the air.
Crispy Bacon, thanks for all your efforts. We appreciate it. You stay safe down there in that bad weather. Enjoy next week. Enjoy next week off. And George, thanks for stepping in and being the backup quarterback, being the Brock Purdy.
Okay. All right. Shoe goes in the Super Bowl.
He wanted me to use Pat Mahomes, but I hit him with the Brock Purdy.
If Mississippi to go in, God help you.
So, any final comments, Crispy Bacon?
Yeah, we got saying good night, y'all.
George?
Sailors versus Lakota on Sunday, 2:00. Another matchup with these guys. So keeping fingers crossed, going for a third win.
And you was at Saturday, you said?
Sunday at 2.
Sunday at 2. Oh, and there's no football to watch this weekend, so that's good.
Hey, I might just charge up my phone and slap it on the stand and go, hey, Facebook Live, check this out.
Oh, my God.
I'll broadcast the game on my page.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, folks. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your week, the weekend, and we will catch you the Wednesday after the Super Bowl.